Welcome to the Spiritual Connection Podcast. I am your host, Jill. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about your energy, their energy, manifesting, mindset, creating high vibrational healing for you, body work, the importance of massage and self-care, and much, much more. Let's get rolling. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Om Shanti Healing's podcast, The Spiritual Connection. My name is Jill, and I'm super stoked to have Rebecca Archulette on today from Because You Matter Healing by Rebecca. Good afternoon, my darling. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for this opportunity, Jill. I'm excited to be here.
I am super excited to speak on hypnosis with you. So you are a certified hypnotherapist that helps people kind of tap into their deeper blocks, that subconscious noise that talks us out of things, that sabotages our life, that keeps us stuck. When we see a vision of ourselves in a better place, doing more, being more, feeling more, but we just don't have a vehicle to get there. Rebecca steps in and can help remove all that negative stuff, that self-talk that keeps us in a darker place, and kind of puts in the good stuff, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, so powerful. Before we dive into money blocks today, that's going to be the main topic of our conversation. Most people are financially not where they would like to be. And the subconscious self-talk could be a huge part of that. But before we get started, Rebecca, I want to hear a little bit about your backstory. Why are you doing hypnosis? What got you interested in it? Where did you go to school? Tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll jump into money blocks in a bit.
Absolutely, yes. Thanks for that question. So, I was a traditional counselor back in the day, and I was working with teenagers and children, and they all graduate out of my program. And except there was two of them, I kind of thought, gosh, I really get to the root cause of their issue. And now I know I didn't, because after I left being a counselor for a while, I went to corporate America for 17 years, and I was a trainer there, and I was giving people the skills that they need to be successful. And then COVID hit, and I had to pivot because I got laid off during COVID, like many of the people did. And then I went back to school to be a rapid transformational therapist by Marissa Peer. She's based out of London. And she created this hybrid of hypnosis. So it's a combination of psychotherapy, hypnotherapy, NLP, and then cognitive behavioral therapy. And all of those blends in one is amazing, because instead of seeing me for months, weeks, and years, I have most of my clients are just one session, 1 to 3 sessions, where I put them in hypnosis and I get to the root cause of their issue. So if they're coming to me for anxiety, phobias, addictions, grief, even recovery from surgery, I'm able to work with them, get to the subconscious mind, go into 3 specific time frames they actually experienced whatever this issue is. So, for example, anxiety. Then we go in there together and we clear out the limiting beliefs, the untruths, the lies. A lot of it's blocked in there from ages 0 to 8. And then I put in good stuff. So I put in good empowering beliefs, good actions, good mantras that they actually have brought to me and created themselves. And it's their verbatim that they brought to me through the questions I asked them before the session. And then I add to it with whatever comes out in the session. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 3 years. And it's been so transformational for myself, my own healing, and then also for my clients as well. So they come back to me for something completely different, months later or even a year later, like, hey, I'm working on this now. Can you help me with this? And absolutely, I can help you with that. So it's
That is
fascinating.
powerful stuff. Like the subconscious can really make us or break us, right?
It's amazing. And they have me for a lifetime, because in the session, I make them their own personalized audio of the upgraded beliefs and actions and mantras. And they listen to it while they're sleeping, because that's when the subconscious mind is the most awake, and it creates new neural pathways in the brain. So that's where the brain upgrades and makes that familiar, the new mantras, the new belief systems, the empowering beliefs that are going to move them in big ways to get them to the life that they've created.
Fascinating. So you talked about time frames specifically. So when you're unraveling their why, right? They have these blocks. Are there specific timeline, like is there a timeline of events that you need to unfold in a specific way to really get to the root of it? Like perhaps there was a trauma event or some sort of abusive whatever event that happened that might have triggered some sort of trauma that created a block later on. Is that, can you speak on the time frame part of your
Absolutely.
evaluation that you do?
Absolutely. So I have them go in and ask their subconscious mind to get to the specific time frame. So their subconscious mind is actually taking us back to the three specific events that cause them to believe about themselves, the limiting beliefs. So if they think, I'm not enough, their subconscious mind's going to go back to those specific times in their life where they felt they weren't enough. And most of the time it's childhood from 0 to 8 is that the time frame. But I've actually had clients that were actually in the womb when their trauma started. They took on their mom's trauma while they were
Wow.
pregnant and they were born with it. So they don't even remember it, right? And then when they go back after the session and ask their mom is like, "How do you know that? You weren't even born yet." And it's a validation that absolutely that was true. That happened. And so
Wow.
then together we clear that out, right? We clear out the limiting beliefs, the untruths, whatever happened, the traumas, and then we put the good stuff in. And then they have that recording forever. So that way, after the 21 nights that they've listened to it, so it locks it in, it creates those new neural pathways. If in the future they have trouble sleeping, they listen to their personalized audio again. Or if life happens and they trigger it, something is triggered, they listen to that personalized audio and that resets them back on track again.
That's fascinating. Yeah, that those trauma moments could be so deeply embedded, right? In our DNA, we almost feel it on a cellular level, but it's not a tangible thing, right? And I fully agree with you that you can inherit trauma from
Mhm.
the womb.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's all energy, right?
Yes,
If the mom's got this energy of anxiety and fear, you're going to be born with some of that.
exactly.
Inherently it will be there, and then you're going to have to manage it. And being a sensitive person like humans are, we can take on stuff without even knowing that we're doing it, right?
Absolutely. Our issues are
Yeah,
in our tissues. So then, if
love
someone
that.
comes to me for a bodily issue, right? So then I'm speaking to each cell in your body has its own brain. So then I'm speaking to the cells in the body and I take them back to their original blueprint from when they were born as a little baby. And we upgrade that blueprint back to your body, it's muscle memory. Your body and mind remembers what it was like when they were full born, right? When everything was shiny and new and working perfectly. Then I take them back to the original blueprint and they can see 2020 again and they can feel, oh my gosh, the blood's flowing. I have energy. I'm releasing the excess weight. I'm releasing whatever the toxins or the inflammation, whatever's going on in their body. They're able to release it. And, we upgrade their vocabulary. We want to release it, not lose it, because when you lose something, you want to find it again. And so we say you're releasing the weight, you're releasing the toxins, you're shedding the weight, you're shedding the inflammation. We reduce whatever that is. So we change the language immediately, which makes a big difference.
I can see how that would be powerful. That word lose kind of implies lack, right? And you're trying to provide the opposite for people. So I
Absolutely.
love how you can teach people just to alter the way you word things ever so slightly, and the energy of saying it changes completely.
Mhm.
It's super powerful. So on that note, let's segue into speaking on worthiness. You had mentioned to me in an earlier conversation that a lot of money blocks with people have to do with their feeling of deserving it, right?
Absolutely.
Their feeling of maybe not feeling worthy enough in a million different ways, why they can't make that money, why it's not coming to them. Perhaps it's a blame or a shame or something. Who knows? Let's speak on that a little bit about how feeling a lack of worth and self-love and like the detriment to your future and what that can cost you in regards to achieving what you really desire in this short time we're on the planet. Let's speak on that for a moment.
Absolutely. Worthiness is handed down to us again, from our childhood. Our lack of worthiness comes from our environment, our parents, our caregivers. When we are belittled or reprimanded, we never stop loving our parents. We stop loving ourselves. And
Powerful.
so if we think we are not worthy of love, we are not worthy of money, if we have the beliefs from our parents, rich people are snooty, rich people are mean, rich people are bad, all these negative things, no wonder we felt, oh, I don't want to be a rich person because I don't want to be those things, right? It's
Right.
derogatory, it's negative, right? Or like for my own, belief systems, my parents, my dad would give me gifts that were $5. If it was $5, I would get the gift. It was more than that. He wouldn't give me the gift. The worthiness started there. Or having a neighbor going to sell trinkets, and my peer that was there, she got the most expensive gift and I got the cheapest gift. And here I took care of her kids and her home when they were on vacation. My lack of worthiness was locked in there as well as a reinforcement from someone outside of my home. And then when I was 18 and I became a Mary Kay rep, the director said, I've got your back. I'm going to take you under my wing. And it was just the opposite. I trusted somebody and it was just the opposite, completely sabotaged it. All of my gifts from Christmas time that I was able to purchase got traded out to her other people in her um under her wing, basically. And I got stuck with everybody's no saleables, right? They couldn't sell these things, right? And so I had all this product I couldn't sell. And so my trust for that was awful. Like if my dad didn't trust me, if my dad didn't think I was worthy, if my director didn't think I was worthy, if my neighbor didn't think I was worthy, why would I think I was worthy? Right. And so for becoming an entrepreneur, I had to clear all that out because that wasn't my belief at all in any of those cases, but I had taken that on. And so I cleared that out and know that it's my divine birthright to be worthy, to be loved, to be abundant, and to know that there's enough money in the world for everybody.
Yeah.
And that was another disbelief. If I spend this money or if I get this job, somebody else isn't going to get it. They're going to be lack. They're not going to have the money to feed their kids. And so I would sabotage myself with going for different jobs. I was an individual person, and here's a single mom with 3 kids. So I would back out of going for jobs because I thought, well, I don't have 3 mouths to feed. She deserves it more than I do. And I self-sabotage myself my entire life until hypnosis and really doing the work for myself and knowing I am worthy. Because when I'm abundant, more people are abundant because I'm a giver. I love to donate to worthy causes and to help people that I can help. So for me, having more money, more people are benefited from it. And that was a total mind shift to
Mm.
think, wow, I'm just as worthy as everybody else. And when I'm more worthy, other people benefit from it.
Yeah. And, having money gives us choice, right? To do
Absolutely.
philanthropic work and spread our money around to help other causes and other people. Absolutely. But you're so right in that worthiness and that time frame stuff you spoke of before, like really narrowing down, are there specific moments that happened in your life that triggered this switch to go on in your head that made you feel unworthy of abundance?
Hmm.
Financial abundance, love abundance, security abundance of whatever shape and form. Everybody needs different levels of it. But being able to pinpoint through your work when those moments happen specifically
Hmm.
can be a huge, powerful shift for people to really come out of this feeling powerful again, feeling worthy again, feeling motivated again to go after what they really want. And having these messages, I mean, this is like the stigma around being financially successful. You mentioned they're snooty and they're entitled and snobbish. I totally get that. But I can tell you, I know in my financial services business, I know several 6 and 7 figure earners that are grounded, loving, helpful. They donate money to their church. They take percentages of their income out every year to donate to causes like Habitat, for humanity, and realities for children, and different rescues for animals. And they use their money in different ways to help others that don't have what they have. So I feel like, and I felt that way too, but as I'm doing better in my financial business and meeting more of these people, rubbing elbows with multimillionaires and hearing their stories, my view of that has changed.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much choice. And I think that people use that as an escape or a scapegoat to give themselves an excuse to not push harder.
Exactly. They're playing small when they could play big.
Right. Like, get yourself out of this box, right? You can make more money if you look around, you reach out, you get creative, you talk to more people, you lean on people that are doing it better than you,
Yes.
and you learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
You can achieve more financial security also. So that's just an excuse. Yes, there's plenty of rich people out there that are jerks, but I feel like there's a lot more of them out there that do really good things for the world with the money that they have.
Absolutely.
And
And makes
looking
you
at that
more.
as an opportunity for you to try harder. Because
Yes.
if you could get there, then you could be that person. You could donate to that cause that means a lot to you. You can help the shelters near your community and do bigger things to help people around you that are in dire straits or animals that need rescuing, wherever your heart lies, right? So shifting that mind into a place of excitement, like, oh, if I can, take this job offer, switch things around in a different way, and get to that place where you're secure first, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can use that extra to help other people.
The why is
That
the
feels
key thing.
better.
The why is the most important part because a lot of times people say, well, I want to be a multimillionaire. Okay, why? Why just want to make $2 million? Well, why? Because $2 million, that's great, but that's flat, right? Because you get to $2 million and then what? But if you say, I want to get $2 million because then I can, you know, I can retire my parents, I can buy them a house, I can, put my nephew through school, I can donate to this charity, I can do the things, right? Like, how am I going to improve people's lives? That why is so empowering. Like, you are never going to forget that why
Yeah,
because that's your driving force. I'm going to get up
exactly.
in the morning and do that. I'm going to go the extra mile because that is my why. By me doing the extra mile, making that one more phone call, doing one more podcast, doing one more, shifting it 1% every single day, that's going to allow me to do the why in all those people's lives that I want to actually benefit going forward, paying it
Yeah,
forward.
yeah. And I feel like a lot of the sabotage too is maybe people might be in a situation where they feel a bit stuck, in their careers. So what can you do to change that? Right?
Mhm.
Really doing a deep self-evaluation of what makes you emotional when you think about it. What kind of things really are in your heart? And maybe it's time for a career change. Maybe it's time to go back to school and learn something different. Time to pivot. If you're stuck and you're in this circle where nothing is changing and you're miserable, then you need to pivot, and do something uncomfortable till it becomes comfortable, and then add more discomfort to that, right? Because that's what it takes, especially in entrepreneurship. We have to get very used to being uncomfortable, don't we?
Absolutely. Every
When
day is
we get need a
uncomfortable.
name or promoting ourselves or businesses, it takes balls to do what we do, and maybe that's just the recipe for somebody, to just pivot in the direction that you want to go, where your heart is leading you, and the money follows that, right?
Yes.
What resists persists, as they say. If you're
Hmm.
stuck in a situation where it's just a circular pit of despair and loneliness,
Hmm.
you got to change it up.
And the way we speak to ourselves is number one. If people get one takeaway, how we speak to ourselves is the most important. Our
Mm,
own voice is the most important, and
so
our
true.
subconscious mind is always eavesdropping on us. So if we say anything negative about ourselves, pivot immediately and change it. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. I don't know how to do this yet. I'm
Right.
learning how to do this yet, right? So then we're uplifting ourselves. We're being our own loving parent. We're encouraging ourselves. And a good way to kind of think of that is think of the little you inside. You would never be mean to a child. You would never berate them or call them names or shame them ever. You would never do that to a child. You would be encouraging, uplifting, helping them away, cheering them on when they have a huge win, like, way, you did it. This is fantastic, building that self-esteem and encouragement and confidence. So now that's what we do to ourselves, right? Because our
Yeah.
little selves are still in there somewhere. And if we
Oh,
didn't have
yeah.
the best home, we still are lacking that. And so we become our loving parent. And so the way we speak to ourselves is the most important, that we are enough, we are worthy, we are lovable, and we matter just the way
Yeah.
we are. And there's enough
Yeah.
for everybody to have an abundant life.
Yeah, that's gold. Yeah, the relationship we have to ourselves is the number one thing. And we had discussed this about self-love, and your money gets stuck because there's not enough of that going around,
Yes.
right? We
Yes.
belittle ourselves. We are our own worst critics. We get stuck in this low vibrational place, and we cannot align with abundance and money to flow into our lives if we're constantly telling ourselves we suck and we're not good enough and we're not smart enough and we're not brave enough and all the things that keep us small. As long as that relationship with yourself is not in a good place, your relationship with money is not going to move. Your
Mm-mm.
relationship with people are not going to improve. Nothing will change if your internal dialogue is keeping you in a dark, heavy place, right?
Absolutely. That's why when you hear of those, $1 million lottery winners, they waste it in a year and they end up being back at the job they originally were at in the same house that they were originally at because that was what was comfortable. They didn't upgrade their belief system, their worthiness, their self-value, and their worth. It stayed where it was when they won the money.
Yeah.
So they sabotage themselves
Yeah.
to lose it,
And they're not educated on what to do with that money, how to invest it, right?
which
That's a
is where
whole
you
nother.
come in.
That's
You're
right,
such a valuable
exactly.
resource for that.
Yeah, they can learn how to put it places where it grows more interest, and that's a whole nother podcast. We don't need to steer in that direction right now, but I totally agree with you 100%, and by the luck of the draw, they won, right? The
Yes.
universe is giving them this amazing gift, and they do stupid things with it because they're in a lack mindset, and they
Hmm.
blow it all,
Absolutely.
and that's their story.
Hmm.
And it's a really sad ending, but that's their story,
Right.
and talking about how you would talk to yourself in order to create that higher vibration and bring the money in. I want to explore that a little bit more. You talked about your inner child a moment ago. Let's kind of go back into that for a minute. Like the child is worry free. It's all about presence, right? Everything is exciting and new, right? No fear when
Exactly.
you're little,
Absolutely.
right? Every day is a new milestone. Every day is a celebration.
Yes.
Every day is filled with the ahas, right? So at what point does that all stop? As we grow up and we become more cognizant of the energy around us, right? And the people around us and what they say to themselves and each other, and the environment that we're living in as children could absolutely create this energy of lack and unworthiness, depending on how you were raised.
Mm-hmm.
What was that messaging? For an example, I was not great at math in high school and in junior high. And my mom is not great at numbers either. And she's like, oh, Jill, she's like, math is just isn't in your genes.
Mm.
And she told me that over and over again because I wasn't good at math. And of course I wasn't good at math.
Right. How could
Oh,
you?
it's just not in your genes.
When we label,
So,
we limit.
right, what your parents say can mess you up for the rest of your life. And now I'm in financial services
Way to
because
go. Way to
I'm in the
burst through
phase of
that.
my life of overcoming all of that stuff that held me back earlier in my life.
Changing
You
that
know,
programming, upgrading it.
yes, yes. That's messaging that has kept me in this small financial spot where I have a lack mindset, right? Where it's never enough and I'm always pushing and I can't celebrate my wins, and it's on to the next and on to the next and on to the next. And I evaluated, like, when the wins happen, like, why can't I stop, pat myself on the back and be
Yes,
like, you
celebrate.
rocked. That was a great sale. Good job. That wasn't easy. You worked on that client for 5 months and they're finally going for it, and celebrate those wins. And like, why can't I get excited? Why is it almost self-defeating, the feeling when I make a sale? And the conclusion to that was because that means there's added pressure to do it again. That means there's more um, more emphasis on the next one and elevating that and competing with myself to do more,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that means more responsibility. That
Yes.
means higher expectation. And I think there's a lot of fear in people around success and making more money because of those reasons. Like, that just means you're putting it out in the universe that you need to do more next time and more next time and more next time. And that's a lot. That can feel heavy, right?
It is. And, the key thing is, another thing to remember is physiologically in our bodies, fear and excitement are exactly the same in our body. So, in the sense of thinking of fear, think of excitement. Like when we were kids, it was exciting to learn something new. It was exciting to get a new friend. It was exciting to go on a roller coaster. So, with us as adults, as entrepreneurs, it's exciting to get that next client. It's exciting to go on a podcast and put ourselves out there. It's exciting to do XYZ because then we elevate that energy, right? It's all about energy and money,
Absolutely.
finances is
Yes.
energy, right? And
Yes.
it's an exchange of energy. So then another key thing is we ask ourselves, my client, my clients are waiting for me. If they would have, started working with me a month ago, where would they be today? And we've had that mindset of our people are waiting for us. I need to put myself out there so they can find me because I have a unique skill set that only I can do. I'm only going to track those key people. Like my clients are my clients. It doesn't matter if there's 100 of us doing the same thing. They have their clients, I have my clients. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to share that, right? I'm going to share my wins with other people. I'm going to share my successes because then gratitude elevates our energy. It elevates everything. Attitude of gratitude, when you're in that lane, you are like you're in a race, right? You're like forward, 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 and you attract all of the clients. You attract the wins. You attract those referral partners.
Right.
It's
And
a magnet.
that's gold. Thank you for that. And it's so true. And then, like, just celebrating, like, put aside that expectation of more and just give yourself a moment to be like, you rock, and say nice things to yourself, because it is so powerful, the energy that you put out. If you're staying in a place of gratitude, like you mentioned, that is so powerful, and it changes the vibration that you put out. And then you do attract people to you.
Yes.
If you're heavy and doom and gloom and there's got to be more work and I hate it and blah blah blah, and not thinking of what you do as something good and you love it,
Mhm.
then yeah, clients will not come your way.
No,
It
they'll
just cuts it
repel.
off. Everybody, whether they know it or not, can feel your energy and what
Absolutely.
you're putting out there, right?
Absolutely.
And that gratitude piece is so powerful. It lightens everything, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And then your clients want to give referrals because you did such a great job for them. They're going to tell their family and their friends, like, oh my gosh, I just worked with Rebecca. I just worked with Jill. I want everybody to get the same results that I did.
Yeah.
Right. And it just comes easily.
So let's talk on how to get there. A lot of times when you hear discussions, they talk about like what to do, right, to get where you want to go. But the how is what everybody really wants to know. Like, how, give me applicable things to do, moves to make to really get into the flow of this feeling and feel authentic and joyful while I'm doing it.
Mhm.
So, what do you have to say around just technique? We talked on mindset. What about physical things that people can do, actions people can take? Because, right, you stagnate, nothing's going to happen. If you say to yourself, oh, I'm great and I'm worthy of money, but then you just sit there and do nothing, right? Not much is going to show up. You have to be proactive to
Absolutely.
to move the energy. So let's talk on that for a bit.
Absolutely. So, like my daily routine before I even get out of bed, my eyes open up. I do my prayers, I do my meditations, and then I do my gratitudes. I do 10 gratitudes before I get out of bed. And some days it's not the best. Like some days it's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for this beautiful house. Thank you so much for, my skill set. Thank you so much for my health. Some days are bad. Thank you so much. I woke up today. Right? So be conscious of that. Even the little wins are still good. So I still do 10 gratefuls immediately. And
Mm-hmm.
then I do my intentions for the day. What are my intentions for the day to move it 1% in my personal life and in my business? And that's going to be get on a podcast with Jill today. It's going to be post on social media. It's going to be going to a networking. It's going to be being the connector of people so they can move and change the shift in their environment, right? And then it's always about we got to, take care of our temple, our body. So I'm going to eat nutritious food today. I'm going to drink lots of water that's going to boost my metabolism and help my digestion. I'm going to move my body. I'm going to go for a walk. So immediately after I eat, I go for a walk for at least 12 minutes. Even if it's in the house, if it's snowing, it's Iggy Day, I'll walk around for 12 minutes because that's aiding my body to boost that metabolism, get that flow going. And then
So
I spark
good.
ideas
Yeah.
too. Like, how many ideas do we get in the shower? You're in the shower and you're like, oh my God, I have the best ideas. Like, I can't write it down, dang it. Because we're moving, like we're the flow of water too. Like being in nature
Yes.
is so amazing. Like I ground myself, I walk barefoot in the grass, I touch my trees, I hug my trees.
Oh,
My neighbors think I'm crazy, but I don't care. It works.
cares about the neighbors.
It
Yeah.
works.
That's all such great stuff. It's like the hydration is a huge one that you mentioned. In the morning, I have pink salt with warm water and a little squirt of lemon juice, and I chug that before my coffee. And that really, it does get your metabolism going, which feels better. It kind of turns your brain on for the day. And then you wake up dehydrated. So it's important to hydrate first thing in the morning,
Mhm.
right? Before the coffee. Coffee's dehydrating and it's got caffeine. It's going to elevate your cortisol levels. Plus, you probably have a little sugar in there too, right? It's going to start your day off in the wrong way. Hydration needs to come first. That's huge. That's gold. Thank you. And then the gratitudes, huge. Set the tone for the day.
Absolutely.
Set it for the day. Be
Mhm.
intentional, right? I
Absolutely.
have a list of my goals that I keep on my bathroom mirror. And I read them every morning out loud while I'm putting on my makeup and getting ready for my day, my business goals, my personal goals. Affirmations are huge. You got to keep, some people are eye rolling right now. Doesn't matter. Affirmations are huge. It taps into that mindset shift, right? And it really creates a powerful change. You got to believe it though. You got to
Absolutely.
believe I am worthy of money. If that is one of your affirmations, I am worthy of abundance. I am worthy of good things in my life. I am worthy of good health. I am worthy of love and acceptance. And having that out there for you to see every day
Mhm.
and remind you that it's true.
And the I ams, I'm glad you said that, Jill, because the I am, anything that comes after I am, your mind, body, and soul have to make it.
Mm,
It bring it to
yeah,
fruition.
yeah,
So I am, whatever you put after that, make sure it's solid and positive because your mind and body will make it correct. And I even have my affirmations in my bathroom mirror and in my car. I have a little one in my car as well. And so everywhere I look, I see it. And even where I'm like intentionally looking at it or subconsciously seeing it, it's still all coming in,
yeah.
constantly coming in.
And keeping that vibration high of this is coming to me. Even
Yes,
if you don't believe it in the moment of creating those affirmations and writing it down or typing it down, I suggest handwriting because there's power in that, right?
absolutely. I agree a
And
thousand
pen to
percent.
paper is going to give you more oomph than typing it for sure,
Absolutely.
you
Yes.
know, and having it in your own handwriting. And you had mentioned like activities like grounding in the grass and touching the trees, going for a walk, so huge to make that commitment to yourself. And one of the big lessons that I've learned over the years is to stop lying to yourself.
Yes.
That is such a big one. Like, I'm going to start running someday, right? Someday I'll start running, and then another year goes by and you haven't done anything. Stop lying to yourself because that's just another excuse to stay in this box of self-defeat and unworthiness. You know the cues your intuition is giving you to help your body and your mind feel better. Going to the gym, that hydration piece, decreasing
Mm,
caffeine and sugar and processed foods, getting your butt out the door and moving more.
yes.
And each little time you tell yourself you're going to do something and then keep that promise to you is huge in building up that confidence and that feeling of self-worth and getting shit done and accomplishing your goals and opening up that pathway for that abundance to come in. It's got to start
Absolutely.
with loving on you. And it's not selfish,
Mm.
it's required because where you're at now obviously isn't working for you. So you need to change it up, right? If you're stuck
Self-care
in
is
this
needed.
rut,
Yeah, we care for ourselves. Self-care
something,
is our
yeah,
responsibility, right? And so, and then delayed gratification is another key piece too. And so, if I really want to make a delicious coffee in the morning, I'm going to drink my water with lemon also. And I have apple cider vinegar in mine as well with ginger. And so I'm going
yes,
to do my post first. So I'm going to do my post first, and then I have my water, and then I'm going to have my coffee. So I'm delaying my gratification of a yummy coffee until I do my post first. And then those little wins, because that increases our self-esteem, our confidence. And
yes,
then at the end of the day, I've had all these wins, which is
so
amazing.
good. Yeah, in the routine of it,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Right? They talk about so powerfully in all the coaching that I received through my financial education company. Routine, routine, routine. Get up and do the same things every day,
Yes.
because yeah, it's boring, but monotony is what brings the money in.
Yes.
As an entrepreneur, speaking of that mind, right? Like the monotony, gets super awesome at doing what you do over and over and over and over and over, and keeping the excitement about it there, present. And the
Perfect.
monotony brings the money.
Perfect practice. Perfect
Become an
practice.
expert at something,
Exactly.
you know, and the money will come. Now, if you're self employed and you work in a corporate type of environment, that's a bit different. Do you have anything to speak on in that regard? If someone is in a dead end job and they hate their boss, and they're not going to get a raise unless somebody dies or retires,
And they're done
right?
that.
That
I
is
came from
corporate.
there.
There's tons
Came
of
from there.
pressure,
Oh my gosh. Yes.
you
So
know?
the key thing with that, because I came from corporate. I was there, over 20 years in corporate, very successful, making six figures before I left. And the key thing that was, I get it, you have to have the money, right? The golden handcuffs. But then the key thing is to do on the side is whatever brings you joy. Do it for as a hobby or do it as a side gig. Whatever brings you joy, that is so important because that feeds your soul, that feeds your heart. And if we're not doing it as an entrepreneur, bringing money in, we're doing it as a hobby, we're doing it as a side thing because it's so important to feed our soul and that happiness with whatever that is. It doesn't matter. Figure out a way in your life to fit it in because that adds value to your life. It feeds your soul, it feeds your happiness, your gratitude. It's all around a win-win.
Yeah. Think about how many hours a day you stare at Instagram or Facebook. Like how much time are you wasting on
Right.
stupid, useless nonsense? What are you feeding your brain with? Are you watching like news all day long? That
Oof.
needs to end. That's going to make you spiral, right? Turn
Yes.
it off. Turn it off.
Yes.
Even if this thing you love is a volunteer position,
Mhm.
it's going to elevate your energy and it's going to make you feel lighter because you're doing something that makes you feel happy,
Yes. And you're
right?
feeding your soul. You're feeding your inner family, your inner child, your inner teenager. And you know what that is because people think, what is that? I have no idea what that is. Well, when you were in the flow of something where you think only an hour went by and you look up and like 6 hours went by, whatever that is your happy place. Do more of that.
Yeah. And I tell people when I talk to them about energy work and stuff when they're here for that, like what was it that you did when you were a kid that you loved?
Yes. Zero
You
to
know,
seven,
what
right?
what just made your heart flutter when you were little?
Yep.
For me it was like puppies, you know,
Oh, yes.
playing with animals.
Mhm.
So now as I am building my business and making more, I am donating to the local shelter, and I'm putting in time to volunteer over there. And that feels good to me,
Mhm.
because it helps the animals. It's in my heart and it fulfills me
Yes,
in a
that's
way that nothing else really does.
mhm.
And that brings joy. And like joy is different than happiness. Joy is like on a soul level, it's on the cellular level, it's a choice, right? It's in you. Happiness is a short burst of satisfaction, like a Starbucks, right?
Right. Exactly.
Or little moments of elation that fade quickly.
Mhm.
Joy is embedded in you that you feel deeply inside that sticks around for a while,
Absolutely.
you
And it's
know
your inner knowing knows what that is, right?
your inner knowing does know what it is, and people that need to find that, you already know what it is. You just need to sit in a quiet space and let it come forth
Mhm.
so you can remember what
Exactly.
that thing is
Exactly. And
you know
hypnosis can do that too. I've done that where I had a span a year ago. Everybody's like, what is my life purpose? And through hypnosis, I'll take you back. And your subconscious mind will take you back to that age. So you uncover it and it'll tell you what it was.
wow,
It's powerful, so powerful.
wow. I hope everybody heard that. Yeah, that is amazing. So many people lose it, as we grow up and life happens and reality hits, and you learn more about the world and everything. It's like, it sometimes can be very hard to remember that part of you. So that is so valuable there to be able to help people find that in themselves again. You
Absolutely.
know, and once you find that and you feel it and you can fill up your heart with it, just open up to the guidance around that, you know, and help, ask for the help to find a path to feel that all the time,
Yeah, and keep
you know,
going.
whatever it looks like.
Yeah, when you find that, keep going. Do more of that.
Fabulous. So give us a kind of quick experience of hypnosis. Like, what is your step by step of how it all works?
So when a client comes to me for hypnosis, I give them a detailed questionnaire that guides them through the process. So they actually figure out what is the presenting problem? What is the root that they want to start to work on? And not that that ends up being what it is. In some cases, most cases, it turns out to be something different, but at least they have a starting point.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go through just a background of what was their childhood like, just high level. What are their triggers when they feel unworthy or anxious? Because usually people don't know it's unworthiness, it's like anxiety. And then the key thing is the most important is what is their life like without the issue? So that's what's going to be in their audio that I make for them at the end of the session. So it's verbatim, their words, their terminology. And if they put something in that's negative, I reframe it so it's a positive. So I do a detailed questionnaire before their session. And then when they come in for their session, I teach them how they get into hypnosis, which is it's very easy. I'm not like weaning a watch in front of them or the black and white dial kind of thing. I mean, they're looking up
Mm-hmm.
into their eyebrows, something very simple, deep breathing technique. And then I create a safe space for them to be there. And then I put them into hypnosis and they're talking the entire time. I'm guiding them through the process. I take them back to three scenes that they don't relive. They've already relived it. They've already lived past it, rather, and they've already survived it. So it's on a computer screen. It's 100% on a computer screen. So instead of a bird's eye view, they get to see the whole picture of what's happening. And that adds so much to the story that they told themselves that wasn't true or their beliefs of somebody else. And they're looking at it in a safe spot. I'm right there with them. They're the adult self looking on a computer screen at the different events. So they're detached from it. So they have an objective viewpoint of it. And then we go through those three scenes. We clear out the limiting beliefs, the untruths, whatever that is. And then we instill the good stuff. So then I instill empowering beliefs and mantras and inspired action. And then they get that audio at the very end. And then after that, I actually check in with them 48 hours after to see how they're doing, make sure they're okay, make sure the audio is okay for them. Then 10 days later, and then I check in again at 21 days. And then we get to see the results of what it was like for them to create new neural pathways in their brain while they're sleeping to their personalized audio.
Wonderful. And you want people to listen to this every night.
Every night while they're sleeping. So literally as they're sleeping, they're listening to it. That's the conscious mind is at its max. And that's creating the new neural pathways. And the conscious mind, the judgmental mind is sleeping. So that's why it creates it really fast. And then if they want fast results, they can listen to it while they're sleeping at night. And then first thing when they wake up, because they're still in a theta state. So that's the subconscious mind state.
Love that. Yeah, there's so much more room for improvement in that place, isn't there?
Yes.
We're
Lots
less
of
in our
opportunity.
head. Yeah. And I actually worked with Rebecca, and you did a session on me, and you were helping me with some of my anxiety issues.
Mhm.
And she came over to my house and did the session with me, and I have the audio, and it has really, really helped me to just recognize, you know, when those triggers happen,
Mhm.
you know, and it helped me to kind of turn the dial down, you know, on because the thoughts don't just disappear, right? There's still the thoughts come as life happens, but it's what you do with them
Right.
is
You have
what
a choice.
matters, you know. So what hypnosis has done for me is when that trigger happens, I don't feel it in my body as much.
Mhm.
You know, the dial is dim instead of it's like super bright, you know, which
Right.
is very, very nice and can helps to conserve my energy throughout the day, In some cases I'll get a trigger and I notice that it could be a trigger, or it was at some point, but it's not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a noticing.
Yes.
And an observation of, oh, just like, oh, the grass is green, or that tree is pretty. And, an anxiety trigger of something that would have really bothered me in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And it really doesn't faze me much at all anymore. So I'm super grateful for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
You helped me with that. So thank you so much for your amazing work that you do.
Thank
it
you
was
so much.
absolutely
Thanks for trusting me to do
profound.
that.
Yes, and your voice is very nice to listen to while I'm falling asleep. Very relaxing. Your tone is very calming, and you talk slowly, which definitely helps to relax the mind and the body at the end of a day.
Yes, definitely.
So
Absolutely.
very, very much grateful for that. Thank you so much for the amazing work that you do. Is there anything else that you wanted to add as far as our conversation? I feel like we talked a lot about mind, and that was so awesome. And hopefully this podcast has helped a few people listening.
Absolutely. And so if anybody feels like they're stuck and they just can't figure out what it is, they've gone to traditional counselors, they've done Reiki, EMDR, they've done all the things, they still haven't uncovered what it is. Hypnosis is key, getting to the subconscious level of it, because your mind's number one job is to protect you. And so together we go in there in a safe space to figure out what it is, to clear those blocks, and then to get rid of that and to put good belief systems in and get you on the right path.
Yeah. I mean, that subconscious mind can really create profound changes if it's in the right place for you, right? Absolutely. That's that quiet stuff talking in the background, those, the voices without a sound that's in our head all the time. Yeah. Bringing the good stuff to your conscious mind, and then again, taking proactive action towards what you want.
Exactly.
That feels good to act, right? Absolutely. To stop just thinking about it, talking about it, and not doing anything to get it, right? It's huge. So your hypnosis helps people get to that point where they feel confident enough to take action, right?
Absolutely. Yes. And then we just build on that consistently.
Yeah. So cool. So thank you so much.
I'm so grateful
that
I really
here.
enjoyed this.
So awesome. I'm going to put all of Rebecca's info in the show notes. So that's going to include your website, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, email. You can add your phone number in there if you want.
Okay.
And all the ways to contact Rebecca. And you can do this work remotely as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're not local to our area, you can still utilize Rebecca's talents and gifts to help you get out of your own way. Absolutely. And it can be all done through Zoom.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I love and adore you.
Thank you so much, Jill. It was so nice to spend time with you and your listeners. Thank you.
You have yourself a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Stay tuned for the next one. See you later. That's a wrap for today, folks. Thanks for spending the time with me. And don't forget to check the notifications below on my social media links, my YouTube channel with self-care and meditations, as well as my omshantihealing.com website, where you can get info on spiritual coaching and my online courses. And as always, if you do enjoy my podcast, don't forget to subscribe or sponsor below. We'll talk to you soon. Have a beautiful rest of your week. Bye-bye.